On today's episode of Let's Talk FGO, coming at you with the 6.5 Traum pregame.
Traum.
Will it be traumatic? I keep making this joke, and I will continue to make this joke, but that's not technically what Traum means. Anyway.
We're very clever.
We're funny people. Yes, that's right. It is I. I am Omega. With me, as always, is Lucky, and we are members of the 13 Paladins of the podcast. Who are the other 11? Don't ask questions.
It's a secret from everybody. But I hope everyone is enjoying Fate Grand Order, aka Clown the Crown Communication. And while we here at Studio Mega like to bring you the latest and FGO-related news and memes, we will be talking about current and future events for the JP and EM version of the game, so anyone not wanting spoilers should make sure not to disappoint their papa, Charlemagne.
Also, damn it.
What?
I was counting up while you were doing your say of the intro. There's only 8 of us in the recording VC. If there were 13 of us, that would have been sick.
That's how it'd be.
Well, you're not going to get a new banner tomorrow for that. Legendary. You gotta wait a few days. Hey, though, it's a perfect time to segue, talking about, the recording VC and chatting with chat. Perfect time to remind you this episode is brought to you by our patrons, like Adam Harp, Black Stogie, Call Me Zed, Carlos, Dragon, Fight Iceberg, Jeremy Vasquez, JW9000, Just the Fake, Starlight, Legendary Boss Hunter, Liam Kessler, Reed Raptor, Rise of Kenji, Rogue Robin, Charvor, Sean Pryor, some guy named Bob, and Varian the Crow. If you like what we do and want to see us do more, consider supporting us on Patreon and get access to episodes early and lots of other goodies, and it really helps us out. Thank you for your support. And indeed, patrons at higher levels can, listen to the show live, comment live.
Yeah.
And so if you ever hear us referencing, the patrons or the chat, that's them's. But we have a plenty few of things to chat about. And indeed, I should also say, I usually preface it this way, and I'll remind everybody later after the dip as well. But we're not kidding about the spoiler warning. Obviously, we do not pre-spoil story details of upcoming events, but 6.5 is going to come out Monday, probably. Technically Sunday night in some time zones, I'm going to guess. So we're going to be pre-gaming it. I'm going to break down the story. This will probably involve naming NPCs and names and describing fights, so if you do want to go in completely blind, you will be spoiled. So, listen at your own discretion. But if you do want to not listen to avoid spoilers, be sure to come back to this episode later when it's not a spoiler. Otherwise, I will find you. Sadly, my editing method is not going to keep that dramatic pause as dramatic as it could be. Anyway, let's check with everybody's favorite Kohai. Mash.
Senpai, 起きてください.
Because it is time for our regular segment for Pro Tips. Wake the fuck up, Senpai. This one's very simple, but don't forget about your Tunguska epilogue. You don't have to done it originally or do the main interlude to do it. It's just in the game for you to do, but you do have to actually click on it and go through it to do Traum, to do 6.5. So don't forget to do it if you've missed it, or, for instance, have been waiting for the main interlude to proc. It's not directly related. It's the epilogue is literally doesn't actually require you to do Tunguska to do. It's just kind of there, but it is an important step to get in there.
All right, bud. With that, let's move a bit on to Records from the Throne, our regular achievement topic. It is just me. It's nothing major, but I did actually was able to spend a fair amount of friend points. I think I spent 1.5 million total. And while I don't necessarily care about getting Mary Anning that much, because I still don't understand why people then it's I got 1,000 Mary coins out of all that. I'm all cool. That's not even a single grail. But what I did get was a fuck ton of CE cards, and I used that to level my Like a Lady, the Christmas Bargas CE, and my Demonic Bodhisattva up to 100. So I'm yes, stonks, gains. Oh no, unfortunately Lucky is playing Stellar Blade in the background, because I don't do as much talking in these segments. Yes, it's half a grail. I'm pretty sure I got more coins from, the fucking, 800 goddamn Mataharis and Kojiros I'm getting.
Yeah, I guess it's if we want to do it mathematically, it's not necessarily that just because you get more coins for the servant that FP rolling is good, but also if you're FP rolling, you'll get other FP servants. But hypothetically, if you just spend a shitload of FP, you'll get a lot of coins in general anyway. I mean, it would make sense for silvers to be your highest coin count because you're getting that on both ends, basically. You get that when you roll normal gacha and FP gacha. But yes. Yeah, and I don't have any achievements, I should say. As like I said, it's just him, because I just, I already finished the event and have not done a lot extra in this past week.
Oh no, people are right. Oh no, I'm dying.
No. Big servant coins getting to him.
Nah, they are. Servant coin. But no, it is more efficient, because with Mary Annie in there, you will technically get more. But it's like, I do think that the extra coins you get is just so much more negligible, and just the fact that you can get fucking 3-star and 4-star, fucking CEs that are literally meant to just give you fuck ton of CE experience, so you don't have to make goddamn giant ass CE bombs, is something that is way more important. It's like, Lucky doesn't actually roll on the friend point gacha that often. Like, I know I should, but like, oh god, making CE bombs to me is just such a pain in the dick. Just like, no, I don't want to. So when I get something that's like, here, just to take like a fuck ton of CE XP cards, I'm like, yes, give it to me.
Yeah, I mean, I'll always remember when the game is like giving me like a master mission to roll. Like that's always a fast run. But I don't roll all the time either. Usually only when there's a new event to like fish for some CEs and stuff.
That reminds me, I meant to go check if Jufu was gonna be in like the friend point, or if she's limited.
Oh yeah, actually, for the anniversary, that is a thing that came up. Well, you've broached it to chat, so I'm sure somebody can fact check. But yeah. Also, yes, as discussed, rolling anything in FGO en masse is kind of clunky. It's pretty old. So like, doing 100 FP rolls takes so much time, because you have to do like multi-tapping and get through everything, and you only unveil 10 at a time.
Oh, limited to Annie Bear until after. That makes sense.
That's usually how it goes with new permanent servants. Let me actually fire it up and check. Oops, I accidentally hit search. Do anything in the search bar. Okay, yes, no. She is the permanence. So yeah, that means that your first chance to get her will be on the banner with Archetype Earth, but then afterward it'll be any of the places, any of our locations where 3 stars are sold.
Oh, my throat is still
scratchy.
A little scratchy there.
Oh, it won't be the only banner forever. But yes. Yeah, we do have a few things coming up, obviously, 30 million duns and stuff. But yeah, we got in a slight tangent about the FP gacha, the friend point gacha.
That's true, because we are gonna go on to not all the world, but I am close. Guess what? It's me, your boy, Lucky, the rabbit of many, many fortunes. Guys, I completely forgot to pick my 4-star servant. It was like 2 days ago, I was all like, oh, picked my 4-star. I should probably go do that. I go look at the thing. The time for the redeeming this has passed. I was just like, shit! Like, fortunately, the reason why is I wasn't actually sure who'd I'd want in general. Because Lucky has rolled a lot, so I have most of the 5 stars. I think like the only 4-star that I didn't have was Hephaestion. And I was like, do I want a Hephaestion, or do I want to get like, more MPs of, Cat Mom Dad? Or something like that. So I was mulling it over, and I mulled it over too long! So I have missed out on that. Same with the CE, but again, I think I had all the CEs there at, max MLB anyway, so... I
literally had all the CEs. I think I like, instantly used mine for a second copy of, I forget what it's called, but the Lost Belt 6 CE. I was just like, give me one of those for free. I don't want to fuck around. Give me the juice. That's it. I'm outie. For me, like, it was, Hephaestion is like a no-brainer pick, but I have not historically rolled nearly as much as you, and have a less robust library, and I've felt the hurting for a pretender, so we're in there. Reminds me, people have started, because they announced the anniversary thing. People have already started charting out the the GSSR.
Oh yeah.
And I was looking through the pictures, because there's so many banners, and I was like, oh, I don't know about this, and then I see extra 3, and I'm like, shit, that's me. That's all the extra servants I don't have that are all in demand for the past year. And also Ashia Domen for some reason.
Omega's gonna get Domen, watch.
Yeah, I know, I already called my shot. I already called upon the curses of the ancients. I was like, yeah, let's go, extra 6, let's get that Doman spook! The literal only one who I don't want. At the very least, he's still new. Like, that's why I'm not looking at some other banners, because fuck it. There's some that are like, as always, I'm like, well, we could go with that, but that means I'm risking, NP 2 or 3 of that guy, and I'm like, I don't know about that.
Yeah, Lucky has no idea what he wants to do.
Uh-huh. There you go. That's more of a clown horn honk. Anyway, actually, I feel like there's a freaking subtweet to pro tips here. Just in general, do remember that most things in FGO do have a expiration period. Some stuff is like around forever or lasts a really long time, but like the free SSR had like a whole time limited thing ticket exchanges do. Mostly because FGO would like you to log in every day. It's part of how they make you think about banners and stuff.
Banners and stuff.
It's why the game opens with a splash page on the news, which would be a great segue if you're going to do scalegrams. But first, we have to ask you: did you finish your master missions? Slightly more timely this week. To complete your master missions this week, you need to defeat 3 lawful servants, defeat 3 chaotic servants, defeat 15 enemies with the heaven attribute, and defeat 15 enemies with the human attribute, and then complete 5 quests and complete 10 quests. Do anything. Now with the heaven attribute, that might be a little feisty. I think you would probably have to go to somewhere in Septum to get that at the lowest AP level. I don't know. Is there a heaven attribute like Shadow Servant in Orleans? Does Martha count? I'm pretty sure there's a Shadow Martha somewhere in Orleans. But even so, you can bang out most of these in Fuyuki somewhere. I mean, there's a Shadow Herc in Fuyuki, though he might be Earth type, not Heaven type. Also, you'll get some of these probably by doing our ongoing defensive quests and also the advanced quests that got added, which I haven't looked at yet, but need to, because one of them is seashells. But I'm sure it'll be some bullshit, man. Clean my clock. So, master missions, very easy. That means that I can now transition to the news. It'll be pretty short on the news end today, but we have one major update for NA and then a lot of little updates for stuff. So, we have Realm of the Thanatos Impost Traum, Life and Death of an Illusion, pre-release campaign, Part 2. Starting the 9th, going until the 13th of June, as we said previously. Just put this at the top of my notes. Phase 2! Log in a total number of days for 7 apples and 7 St. Quartzes. Tunguska now added 2 main interlude. Because we've moved up so far, this makes Tunguska in NA the super fastest to ever be added to main interlude. It has literally been like 5 months since this finished. If you cleared the Tunguska epilogue, you will get 10 St. Quartzes. And also, we have daily released defensive quests for faux pas. Basically, they're rolling out one of these every day for about a week. I do believe these will run over with when Traum actually starts, but they're still there. And hey, spoilers for the pregame I'm about to teach you, but this is the game telling you to practice. There will be many fights that will be in this format in Traum, so you better get good at fighting lots of dudes that you can't possibly defeat all of them in an X number of turns. There will not be so many cases where you need to fucking keep regular 3-star Romulus alive versus, like, possibly 6 Sabers. That got a little scary, but I managed to catch up on everything. But yeah, so... and you get extra faux pas. You get, like, 2 a day. I don't think 14 extra faux pas is really going to fix the Beast Paw economy, but they're trying. They should do this more. But we also have the Taigong and Nikich summon campaigns back. So Big T and the Ring of Nikich are back in the banners. Coming back. Is it 10 per quest? I thought it was 2. I still don't think 140 really, like, speeds that along too much. Isn't it, like, 50 per command card? Chat, you can tell that I've literally never used my faux pas because they're not great. Now, my gold foes, we use those. But also, starting on the 9th as well, we got Advanced Quest Part 5 dropped. So that's our next block. That'll give you CEs for Shells, Phoenix Feathers, and Hero Proofs.
Woo.
All of which are pretty nice. Like I said, I still have more hero proofs than I know what the fuck to do with, because that used to be our only daily login reward, Matt. And also they dropped by the fuck ton in certain areas of Part 1. But I know a lot of people who joined the game later and kind of missed out on that login opportunity, so it's good. And Seashells and Phoenix Feathers are just classic mats. We also have, just to remind everybody about the Chaldea Broadcasting Station US branch, number 19, full broadcast station, no light That is still happening on the 12th of this month of May. And I believe we also have a full guest list for that. So that should be... Yeah, they got it. And there's the YouTube link. So we're going to have Kenji Akabane, Takuma Terashima, and Kano Yoshiki, who rates being all caps. I don't know when we decided to make that choice, but it's there. It's in all caps in like the tweet announcement, and I think on the anniversary panel.
It's a vibe.
Yeah. I'm okay with it, but just funny. But yeah, so there you go. That'll be coming up. Expect that to come with, CMs, 10 Saint Courts for tuning in and shit like that. I think we have met our social media goal, and if we haven't, we only had a few days to crank that up, but that's going to be another 30 Saint Courts. Keep everything in mind, y'all. Get them courses. Over in JP, chronologically anyway, we do have a light stream planned for the 15th. Presumably this will be like our Kaldea Broadcasting US branch lights, where it'll just be like a short, 20 or 30-minute video interlude. Like a quick recap of what's going on, and then here's what's coming up. Nobody's really sure what is actually coming up. We've knocked out our big collab for the year. I do believe they've said that the next ordeal call won't be until the end of this year already, planned out. It has been a little while since we got a Grailfront.
Yep.
A lot of people have been talking about Grailfronts. Could be a good element. And also, just in general, it was stated for a fact, I believe last time they had a live stream, that the 30 million downloads campaign in JP would be occurring before anniversary over there. Obviously, that's a pretty big window, but people are wondering, because it has been a while since 29 million downloads, if that might be coming sooner, which would probably be not like a huge deal, but a decently big deal. Get you all your extra tchotchkes, clock in some banners with some servants who haven't been up in a while. Archetype Earth's probably a big one. Tiamat could easily see your stuff like that. You'll also probably get a round of, interludes and rank ups, that kind of stuff. So, goodness knows what'll be going on there. But yeah, not sure, but we'll find out soon, I hope. And then, I think I only mentioned this in the pregame out loud, so I won't be referencing back to it. But we do have another bit of NA news. We have an announcement for the anniversary panel already.
Woo!
They've straight up said it's going to be at AX. It'll be the 6th of July. Your guests will include Albert, obviously, Kano Yoshiki again, and then Rumi Okubo, Ayako Kawasumi, and Nobunaga Shimazaki. Has Nobu been to an anniversary panel in the US before?
I don't
think so, but I don't want to say for sure. I know for obviously Kawasumi-san for a fact, and Okubo as well.
Yeah.
So, I wouldn't be surprised if they try to rotate in one first timer every panel, because that's not that I'm not going to say it's not charming and cool to see it, but that's an easy way to fill time in the panel, is to have a person be like, oh yes, this is my first time in America. Here's what I've been doing. Look at my tourism photos.
Well, like I said, you got to fill time somehow.
Yeah, no, you can't. The art of the panel, the live event is, part of the process is the delay. You can't, throw everything on the crowd right away, because then they'll fucking get up and leave, which doesn't look good for anybody.
No.
So you put all your stuff to the back end, so you need some space filler, and it's perfectly fine space filler. But yeah, so like I said, again, that's 2 months from now, almost literally, 3 months, 3 weeks ish. So not exactly sure why we're calling our shot this far ahead of time, but they did, so that's good to know. I know that is a question people in the audience sometimes have if they don't realize that our anniversary events usually line up to AX weekend, because that is not, strictly speaking, the date when the server was launched. But obviously, it's a lot harder for Aniplex and Losangle to block out an FGO Fest style event in America where they do not reside. So usually we got to tag along a little, and AX is as good a place as any. And certainly we've spent some marketing budget there in past years. Honestly, wouldn't be surprised if we don't see more of that. More bus wraps, more banners. Oh, so so it sounds like Aniplex was just firing off a lot of press releases.
That's good.
Fair enough. It's a good time for it. Honestly, by the way, I paused there for a second, not just to read chat, but also to try and work on the escalation of the advertising. And the only thing I could think of was life-sized saber statue in the lobby. I don't know how else. Project a giant hologram of MASH over the convention center. Ooh, chat. And people at home in the comments, let me know. What character from FGO would you like to put in the giant hologram ball in Vegas? Who should we project in there? Who's FGO's Mr. House? Oh, that would be good. Thank you, Legendary Fluffy.
Oh, I was about to say Gil.
I mean, Gil would be the get me, especially like super shiny ruler Gil be good, but Cornunos is another good one. I don't know how much money it takes to like run the fucking hologram ball, but that'd be a great moment in time. Just fire it up, make everybody freak out. I'm sure it would have cost them too much money, is why they didn't do it. I'm very saddened that when we had FF14 FanFest in LA that they could not take over the ball to do some jokes about Ozma or put a giant gaze eyeball on it. But yeah, so we're announcing things ahead of time, and we're trucking. We'll have more details on what all gets bundly bopped into Anniversary later.
Bundly bopped.
But expect a few things. I believe it's the quick rework this year.
I don't remember.
It's definitely Archetype Earth is the Anniversary Servant.
Yes.
I know for a fact there's going to be like 14 rank ups. Don't remember who it is. I used to be able to remember who all had rank ups in FGO, but there's been so many that I cannot. But yeah, it's the Quick is saved and Mighty Chain is coming out. But that means that Scalograms is done.
Scalograms is done. That means it's time for this week's Let's Talk FGO mailbag. And let's do one last refresh. Yeah, we went from 5 to 8, yes. Y'all better be glad I refreshed. But we have eight lovely comments that we will get through them all, and we'll start right meow. And this first one comes from Keeping Rome Alive. Dear Lucky Omega, I recently once again have caught back up on the AP audios. With that in mind, I wanted to ask, what is/are your favorite AP moments? For me, my top 5s are the accidental murder and consequences in Delta Green. Claymore being an absolute force of nature and chaos destroying Northwest Industries, everything in sight in the sprawl. And learning the demon was pleased with the death of the ambush on the enemy base at Mages of War. I have many more favorite moments, but these 3 were the big standouts. Oh man, no, I remember the demons and no, Claymore being a force of nature is just generally something I vibe with so hard. Because in the sprawl, since it's powered by the apocalypse, you just generally in the sprawl, I geared Claymore to be able to do a lot of things with his Chrome stat and buff that up. So generally, if I was fighting or trying to scare someone, I would roll Chrome, which I had a +3 in. So on average, because 2d6 average is 7. So on average, I would usually get a 10 or higher, which means I usually wrecked shit.
Yeah.
So it was very fun just to be like, no, I destroyed this. Goodbye now. Especially since I was always...
The rules are written, to be in that angle where it's just like, it has the famous line fiction first. So it's like, Claymore sizes up a bunch of dudes and says, all right, Claymore's going to go fucking destroy those guys. And I'm like, okay, cool. You're mixing it up. You're attempting to seize them by force. Roll.
You're trying to seize
12.
control of objective. And my objective is their life.
Yes. And then you roll the dice and you're like, cool, 12. And I'm like, very good. You have seized their lives. Literally. You've crushed them. You've turned them into a giant basketball. You've chaos dunked them. They're dead now.
Mages of War.
Just how it be.
Mages of War was good too. I can't remember the name of my character all of a sudden.
It was something Germanic. I'm trying to remember.
It was very Germanic. Was it Wolfgang?
Yeah, I think it was Wolfgang was your given name.
Yeah, no, Wolfgang just slowly slapping on more and more armor, becoming Iron Man.
Yeah, the Mages of War AP, well, some of them are rough because the audio is bad, but that I think has plenty of growing pains because we're once again literally testing some homebrew I wrote, but there's a lot of good evolution in that as well, of just the plans get crazier. At some point, you guys, decide to invent paradropping.
Oh, that's right, we did do that.
Yeah, because you didn't want to fucking attack a castle, and I'm like, okay.
No.
And then, death from above. Dive kick.
Yeah, I think we did. Didn't we actually do a Halo drop?
Yes, no, you literally did it as a Halo drop. You got a cargo plane, stuffed it full of the squad, and, because parachutes did exist, and we're like, okay, here's the plan. Yes, we can fly, but, because we have, air units, but we're going to use parachutes as a backup, and you're just gonna pull the chute or kick on your unit at the last possible second. Try not to die. I'm pretty sure that is also the fight that did have another funny moment that immediately comes to mind, where, like, you personally, you and Marth's character personally decided to take on their barrack of, like, earth mages, because they were all, like, fortification guys, and that ended with one of them just blowing up the floor under you, so everybody fucking went down a floor.
Yeah.
I can't remember if you then blew up another floor. Guys, I like magic design in games. It's fun to design spells. We get some funnies.
Oh. Let's see, like I said, I'm sorry, I'm trying to think, like, and Gensakai, like I said, I like being Porter in particular. I'm just trying to think of anything, like, in that campaign that, like, really stuck with me.
I think there were some moments from the last story we did with the Temple of Dio.
No, there's definitely been good narrative moments. And there's, like, a lot of that, like, Porter, like, telling Leona, no, you have to go back home, like, stuff like that, talking with Ryan about, like, why do you think the Red Tower is such a great place? It sounds awful. And Dallas is being Dallas, accidental murder and Delta Crane, that...
I just, like, for me, obviously, as the game master, generally the way I run games, I'm not usually surprised, per se. That's not to say that occasionally the players do not actually, like, I hand them a puzzle and they're just like, hello, I've solved your puzzle. And I'm like, you solved my puzzle by, like, training the rats to eat peanut butter instead of cheese? That wasn't even on the board. Where did you get the rats? The rats were involved in this puzzle. But it's not quite the same thing, I think, narratively, so it's different, but there are definitely, I think, a lot of scenes I've really appreciated doing with you guys that have gone over correctly. In general, all of Operation Starcourt, I think, well, maybe not all of it. There's, as usual with Delta Green, there's a lot of, you guys standing around the conspiracy board, pointing fingers at each other, flicking through papers, trying to be like, what the fuck is happening? What are we doing? Oh, what does this mean?
What was the one with the rats? That one also had very good... Huh? Yeah, Moonman. Operation Moonrat also had those very good vibes of, like, what the fuck is happening here?
Why is this house so evil? And then I'm just sitting here with my fingers steepled being like, yes, why is this house so evil?
It's like I can't, like, it's hard for me to, like, pick out, like, particular, like, moments, but, like, actual, like, story bits, like, Operation Moonrat was amazing, Starcourt was amazing,
Starcourt had, I mean, it's because it's really long. I don't remember how many sessions it took us to chew through all my material, but it was a long one. But, like, that one, I feel like every time you guys, like, opened a new door or went to a new store or, like, interviewed a new named NPC, there was just, like, okay, hold on, shit, what are we doing?
No, like, when we went to the Arboretum and we went to, like, another realm and we found something very scary and we were all like, everyone just kind of back away slowly. Then we had to go run to the fucking... Oh, God, I love Bong Sagwa so much.
Yeah.
Like, I've talked about that before, my character, Kara. I was doing this out of character as kind of a fucking joke, but Omega took it and went with it, so I just ran with it. It still makes me crack up so much. Like, Bong Sagwa, where's my goddamn drugs? Fucking Bong Sagwa be like, whoa, man. Son of a bitch.
I'm just a talking ceramic frog with a hookah.
The fact that when everything was didn't Dallas, like, one-shot the demon? Or was that Marth? Who's one-shot? Wait, was Marth in? No, Marth wasn't in Starcourt.
No, he was in Starcourt.
He was? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Did Marth one-shot the demon, or did Dallas one-shot the demon?
I don't remember the exact details. You guys went through a few things. You had a couple different tricks. I think you may have hit her with the sword.
Maybe hit her with the sword, or did, like, someone, like, destroy a contract or something? I can't remember. But then, the whole court is collapsing, and then, Aaron's carrot falls through the cracks.
Yeah, he didn't make it out, so he got fished out of hypergeometry by fucking Nodens, and was just like, hey, watch out for that, buddy.
Thanks for the coin.
Yeah. Yeah, it was great.
No, so, like, Starcourt has, like...
Oh gosh, now I'm like, it's been so long since we did Delta Green. I'm like, I don't want to agitate anybody further, including Axe. And I'm like, shit, what was Axe's character's name? Because I barely remember anybody's name. You said Kara earlier.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure my character was Kara
Aaron
Robinson.
Garza.
Benowitz.
Dallas was Benowitz. Yes, there you go. Now it clicks. Like Dallas was Professor Mormo. I can't remember what Mark's character was called off the top of my head. His character, he deliberately played his character as very, very, very quiet, very goal oriented. He was a Navy SEAL, so he mostly just sat around and looked buff. And then when you guys needed to lift something heavy or punch somebody or blow something up, he was there. But yeah, like I think Benowitz and some of the other characters had good moments, but trying to pick them out of just the blur of everything, like, God, how many of you? I think it was mostly Benowitz and Garza who went to the arcade when you guys got fucking. Yeah, but I don't know how much of you actually were fully in it. You guys, I fucking Freddy Fazbear to you. Yeah, you had some great reactions to that as well. Most of my thoughts about Delta Green are reactive. If you don't get this, people listening to the mailbag, check out our actual play playlist. All of these games and more. Hours and hours of entertainment for free.
I'm just thinking about some of the ones that we didn't get properly recorded, like Mayhem Squad and Star Wars. That had moments.
Yeah, I missed that I didn't have a good recording setup for that. That was like really indicative. Obviously, like that's going in the way back, but I think everybody in our Clone Wars campaign had some really good moments.
Oh yeah.
Like I feel like Camo and Boots had very distinct characters that we knew about, and you know, from I think I literally just talked about the double Nexus situation where I'm pretty sure it was Camo. I don't think Boots had wife number 8 yet. Also, yes, if you don't get that joke, I named a like unique shotgun drop wife number 8 to imply that, you know, whoever previously owned this scatter gun, you know, had clearly been through some stuff. There's a lot of busted shit in Star Wars, but I think that was pre-wife number 8, and you just ended up, like, double tap one shot again, and I was like, okay, guys, cool, guess what? There's 2. There's a second one, fuck you. Like, no, we genuinely have some good stuff. Obviously, it's a tabletop, and we're not nearly as scripted as you might see from some, like, higher production value guys with the pre-prep and stuff. You know, so we've got some faffing, obviously, but I think there's a lot of good material.
I know we're faffing on this for a while, but I'm not super concerned. I really want to like.
I mean, we're on question 1. We've been going for 40 minutes, so I think we're doing okay on time.
Okay.
Not too long, not too short. And what I was going to say also was, to be fair, this person in the mailbag asked us, like, hey, what were your favorite moments from your entire history of actual plays? Let me pull up the playlist and see what the oldest video is. I think that was our second aborted Monster Hearts run. That's another one I'm sad about. Our first Monster Hearts campaign was also really good. Where like Ron built and I kind of tweaked basically like Jacket from Hotline Miami as a playbook, as a skin. Yeah. You know, and like we had some weird moments of that around the whole group.
Yeah, I wasn't as good in that one. I played The Chosen in that one. That was
No, wasn't as. I don't think that character was as focused, but you also still had some good moments, and we got some stuff.
I think one that I think very fondly of, Urban Shadows. I remember I played Jack Carver, a Reaper for the new hell, a hell that has basically gone corporate and digital, gathering souls for the eventual end of the world. That was fun because I basically played Spawn. I didn't realize this until a year later. I was like, oh my god, this guy was literally just fucking Spawn.
Let's see. Yes. So, the first ever AP in the AP playlist, Monster Hearts Arborea 1.
Oh, that's the one where I played the Fae, and I kept trying to make people make promises.
Which we got through about 6 sessions of that. That was posted July 1st, 2017. God, shit! That made me realize I'm looking back on the playlist. I'm like, damn, I forgot. We did do a full session 1 of my Knights Black Agents campaign. That campaign is just fucking written. I wrote it. I'm trying to think. I think Odin had some moments. The problem is trying to pick out specific lines of dialogue. I'm pretty sure in my memory of Odin, I'm there was times he said some stuff. I feel like though personally Odin's tone has drifted back and forth a couple of times. Not that everybody's fucking tone hasn't drifted back and forth a couple of times, but like trying to pick out defining character moments is out there. Let's see, we did a decent block of Eclipse Phase, and then it's gonna be Clone Wars for a long ass time. Wow, sorry, I didn't realize that like right after. Well, I think it's in the middle, but like in the middle of Clone Wars is when we took our sprawl break. That's where Session 0 is. Oh, I have multiple thumbnail designs.
Oh, excuse me.
And yeah, and then there was Delta Green, Shadow on the Wall 1 and 2, Rat's Nest, and then Starcourt. 9 parts for Starcourt.
Wow. God, I'm thinking about Starcourt, where we actually found that dude from the ghost hunting show, and when we got him outside, he turned into. Well, I probably don't want to spoil that, but that was a moment of
Yeah, I have just. I mean, it's Delta Green, so it's a cosmic horror campaign. But I think I had several moments where you guys were just like, "What?" I think that was you found that guy in the movie theater. There was a moment like where you guys went up there, and I described it being like spooky and foggy, and being like, "Oh yeah, why don't you just see some like reddish sand in the corner?" And then immediately the squad is like, "What the fuck is this sand? Give me an evidence baggie. What the fuck is this sand?" And I'm just like, "Oh yeah, it's just sand from Saudi Arabia." And you're just like, "How did it get here?" And all I do is when that happens, I just sit back and smile. I'm just like, yeah, how did it get here? We have fun. I mean, I feel like, I will say this, Max talking about Odin. I do feel like, obviously, some of that is got to do with just general encounter design. I think, obviously, in Singularity War, you found your niche as mostly being the buffer and occasionally throwing out shots when, you've used up all your buffs and it's time to clean up. I do not think that I would find Odin as not equipped to win fights. You certainly can have a lot of good stuff in there, but definitely your deal making stuff is pretty good. Do you have the talent yet that lets you like de-escalate fights or convince guys to fucking quit yet?
What was it like? Let's talk about this.
Yeah,
I don't know if I've seen that, and
I don't think we've ever actually gotten to it. It is like a tier 5, but that absolutely should be something Odin eventually gets, and it's just like fucking.
Is it in the books? I feel like Axe would have gotten it already if he could have.
It's in his plan. Axe is a pre-planner.
Oh, it's on his page. Okay.
Because that's absolutely some shit that I think Odin should try more frequently if he can do it. Because that sounds like up his alley to just be like, "Hey guys, see my friend here? Just Claymore. Do you wanna fight this?" And then roll, and the answer is gonna be no. That's fair. Dedication is also very expensive. Me building my character for Return to Benison Island, I'm just like, man, 60 EXP does not go as far as I want it to.
Like, unfortunately, like the more I think about it, I don't really vibe with like moments. I vibe more with characters. Just like how I encompass a character and everything that they do just becomes my favorite. And I have to say, like right now, my favorite probably is Claymore. Like I said, I've talked about this, and I just enjoy his vibe so more of kind of a villainous asshole who's softer than a lot of people may think, but will absolutely wreck things he doesn't like. If people haven't noticed, Claymore totally has a soft spot for kids.
Yeah, I don't know if we ever like intentionally planned that. I think it just kind of like organically clicked.
Yeah,
because kids kept showing up,
and Claymore's like, these kids. But so it's like no, like I can tell you like a lot of things I enjoyed as Claymore, like most recently after the attack of Kazai, making a fucking warning video to send back. I'm like, yes, this is exactly the vibes I want to be. Big, ominous, scary, blood and gore. Don't fuck with me. Most recently in Rustling the Rustlers, I had to spend a story point so I can have it. I like how I keep putting this, but a convenient yet ill-advised ramp. And as I just been spending like the past 2 sessions driving the gun bunny through buildings, mostly. I'm pretty sure if there was a building and at any of those Rustler locations, I drove into. I drove into the garage. I drove into the bar. I drove into the shack. I drove over the wall. And if it wasn't for that fact, I probably would try to gone into the office or warehouse. That might have actually been a bad idea. I might have hit something and everything exploded. But
I plan hazards.
But And, talking about, like back on the sprawl, and just the entire attack on Northwest. I remember this on our first session of the sprawl. First time like playing Claymore, we went to go do the job and to fuck over the RGC, get the, what was it, drone?
Yep, drone plans.
Drone plans. Well, technically, I think it was the second session because we did planning and then executed. The final kind of encounter of it was supposed to be this big ass like drone bot, and Claymore 1v1'd it like super fucking easy.
The carnage was pretty busted.
I did swatch it out eventually because I was like, this is too busted. I am literally murdering everything. But it was like I said, it was like a defining moment of like, yes, I am just that badass. And I've kept running with that like mentality ever since. That's why actually that's probably like most why like the fight with Kazai like really shook me, because 3 hits and I was almost dead. I was just like, "Huh!"
Yeah, that's the classic escalation.
Mm-hmm.
I do also think that like in general in the system, the crew I think got a little used to Gensakai, where you have very deliberately tuned Porter and there are a lot of tools accessible to be a healer.
Yep.
It's a lot easier for when you finish the pull in Gensakai for everybody to circle around Porter and for him to just heal everybody with magic.
Yep.
And then maybe chuck a potion or take a nap after. That process is a lot more lengthy in non-magical settings. Even with stims and repair patches, it's like, well, we've only got so many heals in us. Get fucking bangled monked. Also, yes, the ramp was great. But yeah, we do have 7? Yeah, there's 8.
Yeah, we got 7 more. I think I'm sorry we kind of rambled on that one, but again, I just like tabletop.
We like tabletop. We'll ramble about it more. It's probably about 60 to 75% of what we ramble about during Power Wash.
Yeah. So we will move on, and this next one comes from I don't remember, Killian King. That's how I'm gonna say it. No one can say otherwise. But they say, no questions this week, just wanted to mention a revelation I had today. Ooh, excuse me. That revelation being that where in mythology, Artemis killed Orion by sniping him across the ocean, Orion and Atlantis, lost belt, killed Artemis, sniping her across the atmosphere. Yes, it's like they were both associated with like big shots in archery or something. Pew. So we're gonna move on, thank you very much. This next one comes from the Tower King, who won his scotch of his shiny cardboard crack, and now preps for Monday morning. And they say, question, hey guys, so right now I'm in the middle of a shiny hunt craze, and trying to get a shiny mythical in Ultra Sun, and it's kind of soul-sucking with all the soft resets. For reference, a shiny Poiple took me 1,078, and now I'm about 960 with my current hunt. So my question is, which grind has been the most soul-sucking video games for you? Anyway, that's it for me, sending good vibes your way. Wah, 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 wah. And I hope you have a great evening. P.S. The game I was talking about last week that took 7 years was Ultra Sun. Bruh, how can you do this? Like, why? Why do you need this shiny so bad? Why?
I mean, if it's the last one in the block, I don't know. It's that.
See, this is what I'm talking. Like, I mean, I guess this is what I'm talking about with fucking Nintendo fans being like super hard on like one thing in particular. It's like, why? Why do you put this much effort into it? If your answer is like, I don't know, I want to. That's not an answer.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, like I said, I've discussed before. I've never gotten the appeal of scrunking the shinies. I guess it is. Yeah, saying in chat now that it's the only. You can only get the shiny effect in that game, and only through that method. So it's like
again, like I'm sorry if I'm being rude, but I literally can't understand it. Like, so what? What is that? Like, you gonna put a badge? Like, you're gonna wear a badge that says I got all the shinies in fucking Ultra Sun or something?
That's a good question. How back in the day, generally you could forward port your Pokemon to future games. Since what they call Dexit in Swasha, I don't think that's possible anymore, for sure. And I think they're closing down the Pokemon Home or the bank or whatever. Previously, there would definitely be a requirement that you can port through stuff. Pokemon Home is still existing. I thought they were killing that. Okay, so if they still got it, hypothetically, you can if you get that in there, you can bring those guys to future stuff. So I guess I understand that that's part of the classic, whatchamacallit. Okay, they're gonna kill Bank. Home is still good. Okay. But it's part of the classic, like, gotta catch them all. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out a talent thing, and Adobe is being a pain in the butt to me in the background. But yeah, I don't know. It's God, say I'm with the Pokemon homeless. Yeah, it's still like it is one of those things. Like you said, I don't mean to be rude about it, but I have personally always never been like into shiny hunting, and I do not get the resets. But like
my dude, man, that game came out 7 years. Like, this is what I'm talking about. This game came out 7 years ago, and there's people here putting hours upon hours of effort for just the tiniest fucking thing, and Nintendo's just like, probably just saw like, that's not good for future sales.
Well, it would be if you could access it in the level, but you can't because the 3DS stores are finally down. But yeah, if you really like the shiny you got, and he's only in that game that you can get the shiny, and you're gonna preserve him forever in the Pokemon Home or whatever. I'm saying a lot of whatevers because I don't actually, like I said, I'm not that hardcore into Pokemon.
Yeah, no, man, I am sorry. I do not do anything that's soul sucking. It's like,
I think the most soul sucking stuff you do on a regular basis usually involves our free company airship or submarine.
That's not even that soul sucking. That's just I'll just get into a move, do it for a bit, and leave.
Yeah, I mean that's what I was gonna say. Even then, I don't think it's that deep.
Generally,
it is sick, but you won't catch me doing resets for it.
Like, I'm trying to think of like what is like some of the most tedious grinding I've ever done, and like I can't really think of it. Like, I've done like tedious grinding, but none so much for like that I'm like dying inside, but still want to do it. Like, because if I want to do something, if grinding in video games, like grinding out levels, or grinding out classes in 14, or no other such thing. That's like, guys, my time is limited. I don't know how many fucking years I have left. I can die. I want my I live like, if I died tomorrow, do I want to be able, as I'm all like, man, I spent like fucking 100 hours grinding this one tiny little thing that didn't matter, or did I go do things that actually brought me fucking joy? Like,
well, and the commenter is talking about, well, it started to get soul sucking, so I don't know. Did the question did our what's the word actuarial tables did that level of like commitment of time to result did it start to catch up with you? Did you start thinking about stuff? Because it seems like that's the thing of the question. I'd have to literally go into my game library, because I'm sure I could look at my stacks of games going back to the PS2 and find some games that I'm like, oh yeah, I really had to do some fucking horse shit for that. Usually I don't. I have to be certain. I've been alive for over 30 years. I've been playing video games since I was like 5. Yeah. Probably should space that out a little better. That's just finding a good time to use your time, I guess. I mean, I understand the manic drive to get in the hole. You say to yourself, all right, I've got the setup, I'm ready to go. We're gonna get some shinies. And then, you start the process, and then you realize, oh, I should have budgeted my time better on this. But yeah, I'd have to go back in my game library. Been doing the gaming a lot. I'm sure I have had my soul sucked. I could not tell you what games those were. Because honestly, the games that I feel are soul sucking, I don't end up playing. And I know obviously many people will tell me either to just get good or I'm doing it wrong. But I do kind of feel like a lot of Frem games I've played have been in that way, where just the level of okay, the game is just here to scrunkle my stees, to rustle my jimmies, outweighs the amount of value I'm gonna get for unrustling them. But I have yet to actually sit down and run through those games in a manic state, because my time budgeting is out there. Because there are absolutely games I can grind it out. I'm technically, I mean, not really right now. I've switched to actually progressing the plot in Vestorius, but for a little bit I was grinding out on Unicorn Overlord to catch up everybody, because I was hitting a point where I had over leveled a decent chunk through Drakenhold, and then I got to Alheim, and I'm the leveling curve is starting to catch up faster than I am, kind of a thing. And also, I really wanted to I decided to drop literally grinding fights to get 5 units in every slot because that was taking way too much time. I'll do it more gradually as I also do story maps, but like there were definitely points where I'm like, man, I want to get everybody promoted. So I did some grinding in Unicorn Overlord, but that requires me to play Unicorn Overlord, which is not terrible. I can literally, I don't even have to sit through the fights. I can literally skip them and do the mechanics. And if you're doing the grindy fights, it goes through. So yeah, I don't know. I don't actually know games I've been playing that are grindy to me. Like I know that there's times where I've been like doing certain things in Final Fantasy XIV where I'm like lost and confused. And there are times when I look at the process and I'm like, looking at Alchemist Master recipes and I'm like, okay, this is going to be a thing. This is going to be a thing I'm going to have to figure the fuck out. Or just spend gil on the market board.
Yeah, like, it's going to be a thing, but you're not going to have to spend, like, days upon it.
No, it's not that, and I think 14 is well designed that way. It's not that kind of soul-sucking. Like, at worst, it's just going to require me to pre-prep, I'm going to need to, like, take physical notes or scribble on a notepad. Okay, I'm going to need these things. I get them from these places at these in-game times, and just, be ready one day to be like, okay, we're doing it. We're doing the things, and that's what it is. And it might take a while, but it's not. Yeah, like I said, I know for a fact I have been soul-sucked. Actually, wait, no. I bet it just came to me like a revelation. I bet I know what game was actually the most soul-sucked to play. The re-release of No More Heroes. Yeah,
really?
Y'all remember how you get to fights in No More Heroes? You gotta mow grass and carry coconuts. And almost all of it sucks. Probably deliberately. Probably on purpose it sucks. But, like, that was probably the most I stuck with a game for, like, several extra hours for no purpose than to get to the good shit, because the game was just like, no, buddy, you gotta mow lawns, and that's part of the vibe. And I'm just like, I guess I'll put up with it. Usually, though, when I'm grinding in games, I'm doing something else, too. Like, I am a master of entertainment multitasking. I have 4 million hours in audiobooks. So many podcasts to listen to. So I just like zone out and do it. I actually like shiny resetting is probably a process that's hard to do that in. I know a lot of people integrate that into streams. They get like they generate content the other way. They turn it into content and get like audience participation. I've said this before and I'll say it again. You're not gonna catch me doing that shit. Will, Lucky and I will beat our asses on, like, Mega Man X4 someday. I don't even know if X4 is supposed to be that hard. I think the order was, which we've bitched about before, is everybody said Mega Man X1 was too easy, so X2 and X3 are really fucking hard, and then everybody was like, guys, Mega Man's too hard, and for 4 they were like, okay, cool. But yeah, it's just, I spend my time differently. And I get distracted really easily.
Yeah, so I have nothing else to say on that. Like, I'm pretty sure I have done something soul-sucking, but usually if something gets, like, something, like, soul-sucking, once it hits that point, and like I said, I feel like my return on investments is no longer there, I drop it. I move on.
Hit the bricks.
I hit the bricks. Like, Armored Core, I think that's a good game, but, like, as soon as it started getting too hard for me, I'm like, I guess I can't fucking do it.
Yeah, no,
like,
actually, you're right. That's another FromSoft game that they did start to suck my soul a little bit.
It's like I'm in my, like, mid to late 30s now. I don't have the reflexes and hand-eye coordination to do all that shit anymore. Cause that's just how it is. Like, I know, like, I say I'm not good at video games, and a lot of you guys are like, no, look, you're actually pretty good. I'm like, nah, I don't feel it. Like. So no, it's just one of those things of if I hit a roadblock and I have to like do something like ad nauseum for like not ad nauseum ad infinitum
I mean either works.
Yeah,
ad nauseum is literally like to disgust.
Yeah. To point, then I'm not having fun anymore. And if I'm not having fun, why am I playing this game? Honestly, I think that is my ultimate conclusion here. I cannot understand why I would do something that I would not consider fun.
And hey, sunk cost fallacy exists. Maybe you got in the hole and you didn't know how deep it was. Some people will stick it out. That is technically the gambler's fallacy, but Well, actually, I don't know if it's the gambler's fallacy per se. Probably with shinies it is, because there is a RNG involved. But technically, sometimes some grind is just there is no randomization. It's just hard work. So I don't know what I guess that's just sunk cost fallacy in general.
So let's move on from there. So this next one comes from Monster Girl Efficient. It says, "Dear Lucky and Omega, no question this week. Just sending good vibes. Wah 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 wah. And wishing you well. Keep up the great work. Same to you." But we're gonna move.
I went through like 3 different emotions there. I stifled a yawn. We've been going for about an hour, and I'm tired. Okay, I don't sleep well. It's fucking hot. It's too goddamn hot. So I stifled a yawn. I did my natural instinct to show that I'm still in the conversation, even though I can't speak. I stuck out a thumbs up, and then I just stare blankly at my thumbs up because I'm like, "Are you doing a thumbs up, dumbass? They can't see." Verbal thumbs up. I appreciate your comment. I'm sorry I'm such a dingus. Thank you for listening to me. Besides that. Okay.
All right, let's get through mailbag so we can take a break and make it get up, walk around, and get his blood flowing.
Yeah, maybe I'll take a quick jog around the house.
So this next one comes from Time. Not much time. Work. So much work. And they say, "Hello, everyone. I hope you're having a good time today. No question for today, but I do want to say while everyone is saving Traum, I'm one of those very few who saved up to 86 tickets to get Constantinos. With success. The reason is, well, culture connection and the fact that I have relatives who share his name and myself with my middle name included. That is sick. For those of you wondering why his name been spelled Constantinos in the Ian localization is because that is how we in the Hellenic speaking word would spell and pronounce it, just like he would be called in the time period he lived in. The more you know.
Yeah, I'm assuming Constantine is the Latinization or Anglicization of the name.
Probably.
Hey, good for you. Listen, I got bigger things to hold back for, but I appreciate Constantine. He's cool.
Listen, I probably would be rolling for I honestly, I'd probably be rolling for Charlie instead, but I guess I'm not even going to be rolling for Charlie. I gotta save.
Yeah.
Gotta save for that summer bouquet.
Listen, Lucky's not saying that he wouldn't roll if he weren't employed.
No, if I was employed, I totally would have rolled for both these lads.
It's funny how spending habits work.
Let's see here. Oh, so thank you very much. We move on. This next one comes from Dave, back on the high sea. They say, "Starting Sunday, I'm going to be on a big boat and not sure if I'll be able to download the Traum update. Well, if I can't, I hope you two enjoy it without me. Well, I hope you're able to get it. What kind of big boat? Are you going on a cruise? Navy? Container ship?"
It is kind of getting close to a holiday season. And especially with, in some parts of the world. I know that, Southeast Asia and the Pacific Islands are fucking dying right now. Equatorial regions are already cooking.
Fire!
So, that it may already be a good time for, take your early summer vacation. So, I hope you can get access to the update in a timely manner.
Yeah.
Obviously, you can't, if you don't have cell phone service anyway, you can't play the game, because it does check the server every once in a while. But still, I hope you can get into it. And I'm sure we will enjoy it. We'll talk about the pregame soon, but I have a lot of, kind of questions and curiosity about the story right now.
All right, so we will move on. Thank you very much. This next one comes from Immobilized by Cat. This is a problem I wish I had. Guys, you might not know, but Lucky loves animals. I just love animals. Give me dogs. Give me cats. Give me birds of all sizes. Just bring them to me.
Is Buster averse to cats?
Oh, but Buster is a rot mix. He's a friendly lad, but he runs at everything.
Okay, yeah.
Even if he wants to be like, "Hello, I want to be your friend," he is going full tilt boogie at it. I don't think there is a cat alive that would stand still long enough for that.
I could see that, because I was going to transition classically into the natural joke, which is, here's the thing they don't tell you about cats: you can just pick them up on the street for free.
No, usually, when we bring over people bring over other dogs and stuff, usually Buster's pretty okay with them. Buster has totally been attacked by dogs that are smaller than some of the shits he's taken, and he's usually pretty chill about it. But
I do actually think they may be bred that way, but in my mind, ever since I was a young child, I understood the ratio, which is the smaller the dog, the crazier it is. Big, like really big dogs, like those guys, they usually don't give a shit. They're huge. What do they have to prove?
Mm-hmm.
Tiny dogs, they're like, I am a wolf, you will fear me. And I'm just like, oh, isn't he adorable? I'm just thinking of that meme of that one guy with the chihuahua of like, holding my dog is actually, really relaxing. It releases serotonin as the dog is just going, and like eating his hand. And he's just absolutely no selling it. It's a really good video. I may look it up and link it if people don't know it. But I've experienced the cats and dogs meta. There was a lot of growing pains there. Our dog Daisy was also a pound rescue. She was what they call in the biz a boonie dog. She was basically a re-feralified dog from the island of Guam. This is a legitimate problem they have on Guam. Guam's also, because it's got the military base there. You'll get families get transferred out there. They'll get a dog because it's just an American-ass thing to do. And then when deployment ends and they got to go somewhere else, it's a huge pain in the ass to ship the dog back across the Pacific. A pain in the ass that we did do, by the way. We had that dog for many years, basically my entire childhood. So she was, a wild dog, just feralified and out there, and we picked her up. So she was like feisty. At some point, she had like a BB permanently embedded in one of her hindquarters because we had a chain link fence and people would take pot shots. Only because the chain link fence, kept the dog from obliterating them. This is the thing I understand about humans. We're all cock of the walk where we think the animal can't get us. But so she was like very feisty. Didn't like bark at motorcycles and cars. God help us if we actually had like traditional walk up mailmen. She would have probably barked at them. In particular, our dog Daisy was usually aggressive around usually teenage boys because they would be the kind to shoot BBs at her. So she was gnarly. When we got our first cat, there was a lot of like, the dog did not understand what this tiny furry thing was doing in here. My cat was also from an animal shelter, so she was ornery. So they got into fights, but eventually they just like naturally like built out their space, of like, hey, you don't fuck with me, I don't fuck with you. We're all minding our own business. But that's a thing that your pets have to naturally come to. It's honestly the same with, even if you get the same species of pet. If you get a new dog, your previous dogs have to adjust. Same with cats.
But we didn't actually get to what. Oh, they just said, nothing else today, just sending good vibes. Wah, 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 wah. And well wishes. Wah. No, I would love just to have a bunch of animals. I would like to have like a dog, cat, a snake, a rabbit, chickens, crows, maybe some cows, a horse, sheep and goats, ducks, a tarantula.
Honestly, most of those are pretty alright. People will be skeeved out by snakes. My brother kept snakes for years. They're fine. They're not bothering nobody. With a tarantula, I guess I would be... I mean, that wouldn't fly in my current living space. I still live with my parents, and my mother does not like spiders. But with the tarantula, I guess I'd be concerned if it would get out, not because I'm, like, worried about it, like, biting me or anything. It's a tarantula. What's it gonna do? But, like, they have hairs that are, like, get everywhere and are, like, very prone to stimulating allergies and stuff. And I'm just like, man, cats are bad enough.
Oh, that's true.
Tarantula shedding? That would not be good for my allergies. But yeah, most animals are pretty chill. You did say ducks, and I did kind of have a like, maybe okay. Ducks aren't geese, but sometimes ducks can be fuckers.
Sometimes. Well, any animal can be a fucker when they...
I don't know much about like temperament of domestic duck.
Well, yeah, no, I'm not going to go out to a lake and, just capture a bunch of ducks and take them home.
Just duck nap some ducks? Nah, that wouldn't work. But yeah,
I would also like to have like a capybara and a chinchilla.
And chinchillas are fucking adorable.
Can I adopt a flying squirrel? I'd love to do that.
Actually, I'm pretty sure squirrels count as a pest animal. I don't know if there's any regulations about keeping them.
Oh no, they're totally pests. They are considered pests. Same with possums and raccoons.
Squirrels are fuckers. Like, that. My grandfather stayed with us over the winter, so we put up some bird feeders. Finally, they're mostly squirrel feeders. And the squirrels, I don't know how smart they are with their little tiny baby brains, but I think the squirrels are smart enough to realize they're smart enough to realize that there's a screen between them and the cats. So they just prance out there bold as can be. Because the cats go out on the screen patio with the pool. And I have yet to meet a house cat that hasn't thought about fucking up a squirrel's shit. But the squirrels, they're just like, hey, nobody, don't bother me. I'm here to squirrel stuff.
Just makes me think of all of the fucking videos of squirrel launchers.
I think of squirrels getting like fucking stoned or drunk off eating like fermented fruits and berries. They will get absolutely smashed. But no, squirrels are like, I think people underestimate squirrels because they are so small, but they're sharper than you think. Most prey animals are cleverer than you'd expect, and like there's a reason why we use like lab rats as like scientific testing animals. Those guys are smarter than you think. Also perfect, I know that we villainize rats for some reason in media, but again, the Norwegian rat is a perfectly normal animal that you can keep as a pet.
I like rats and mice too. I like rodents in general.
You're just little guys. I don't want to fuck with you.
Also like, maybe an ermine or stoat. That'd be cool. Get a feisty little guy. Lucky just likes animals and creatures in general. But, yeah, let's move on. Let's move on. To the last one, but not the least one. It's for a...
It's okay, like, you remember how, like, 5 minutes ago I said, farther than they look? Let's wrap this up. Let's take that intermission.
Yeah, okay. So this last and not least, it's Agent 418 saying, hello, Lucky Omega. Have a good weekend, y'all. Thank you, my dude. I'm sorry, I have to go reset my system and flush out some fucking junk data or something. Fuck.
Yeah, we gotta put the paperclip in the reset button. All right, we're gonna take an intermission. For those of you watching on YouTube, you won't notice anything because it'll just be paused and cut here. But we'll be right back and we'll get into the pregame. Thank you very much for your mailbag. Okay, and we're back.
Did you miss us?
Sorry, my brain just immediately jumped to a thing because I was gonna comment, but I don't feel the need to like explicitly make that as the punchline of like that'll read very differently depending on if it's the live audience or the YouTube audience. But then I immediately thought of the line from Dragon Ball Z Abridged, Perfect Cell going, yes, this will age well. Once again, the neurons, they're firing. All right, okay. That was mailbag. Thank you very much for your submissions. I'm pretty sure I said that in the edit will be less than 5 minutes ago, but I'm saying it again because it's been like 5 minutes here. It means it's time for free talk. And I will once again reiterate to you the spoiler warning. The pre-talk, or the free talk for the pre-game, which could be considered a pre-talk, is for Traum 6.5. So, if you are one of those people who likes to go in completely blind, please put a pauser now, skip a little forward. Once upon a time, there would maybe be a time code to jump after the spoilers. Maybe someone will leave a time code in the comments. Who knows? But, here we is. And now that we've done that, let's get into my pregame notes, as I have taken the notes. And actually, I should say, before we get into the notation, if you're keeping track up on stuff, the Traum release will be soon, probably be Monday. Should be on track to fire up the Charlemagne Wanted in time for that, unless they somehow, like, really bamboozle me with the timing, but it should be fine. Because, we've got plenty... I'm warned ahead of time, we got plenty of time, and I don't need to prep for game on Sunday, because I'm playing. If you're curious about the best of compilation for Lost Belt 6, I will say that will not be arriving with Traum. I have been doing what we call pre-production. I have not been physically, like, really stitching and editing the audio, but I have been, like, taking notes and working up toward it. That was going to take a while, because I figured out the episodes that are involved and, like, looking at the timing and stuff. That's spread across, like, 5 episodes, our discussion of Lost Belt 6. One of which will be a thing to edit because that is the I'm pretty sure I'd have to double check what actually is in like what episode, like exactly review the content. I haven't gotten through all of that, but one of those is gonna be episode 300, which was a stream that was like 7.5 hours long. I didn't record the raw audio for that because I knew that was gonna be like a 7-hour long stream, which I'm pretty sure my computer would not have enjoyed recording last June, July, whenever it was. So I can still work with that. I can still pull the audio out of the live stream version, so I will have to download that and do that. But it'll take a while. It is a project that I still do want to do because I think that people like those, and it's a type of content that are still our super most popular episodes are usually those. Those episodes are I don't know if Traum will be quite as explosive, but those episodes are from a year ago, and they are all of them are close to or over 2K views, so which is a bigger chunk than we've been doing lately. So we'll see if that continues to the Traum stuff when we get through that. But I will be working that on however long pace it takes to work, because it'll be a while. Obviously, you, the audience, if you were to be like, oh, Omega, don't worry about it, I might knock it off. I might not. I might just do it to satisfy myself, but I'm not opposed to doing the work, so if you're anticipating it, please be patient. The Traum pregame will drop right now. It's good. It's locked and loaded. I mentioned this earlier, I believe, but to put a number on it, we are getting this about a month early. This dropped on the 1st of June in JP, so, it's almost the full month ahead of time, just to let you know, have it in there. And we're going to have a fun little time here. You're looking at 22 story acts, about average for a part 2 story. Not too short, not too long. And I do believe that if you're doing your tally, there's a decent number, as usual, of story-only nodes, so it should flow by pretty fast. This is not what was the final tally on Lost Belt 6? I think it's 26 or 27 numbered parts, and then several fragments or interludes.
Yeah.
That is also something I meant to do, but have clearly not had the time to do, was go back and also just myself reread Lost Belt 6. That I know will be a process. It's long. This is much more compact and normal in our usual time span. After clearing all that stuff up, you're going to earn 21 Saint Quartzes, 3 Grails. Yes, this is another one where you complete the story and you get 3 Grails right away.
Yay!
You'll get a new CE. You will also unlock Kriemhild's, Don Quixote, and that Forster CE in the story pool, and will also result in a pile of mats, EXPs, and pure prisms. This will also then unlock free quests, just like 5.5. Your free quests will be down in the main interlude section. There'll be 16 of those for 16 more Saint Quartz. Plenty of free quest opportunities there. And the opportunity to farm new mats. Your new mats are Twilight Blades and Bottles of Ashes. We'll probably say Blades and Ashes from here. But yes, Tiny Swords, Bottles of Ashes.
Tiny Sword.
And yes, obviously it's a story chapter, so there are new mats. That's how they do this. So in addition to my usual breakdown of mechanics, supports, HP pools, etc., I want to say at the top, you're going to have plenty of NPC-only runs here. This I think, is the major gimmick of Traum and how they preserve difficulty without making this nearly as hard as parts of Lost Belt 6, or also parts of Lost Belt 5. You're going to have to do a lot of NPC-only runs. Some of these will be with no master skills, some of these will be with special skills, but you're going to have to do it. This is exemplified right off the top with Act 2. So for an example, in Act 2, it's going to be NPC solo only, no command skills, no master skills. You've got a Vlad 3 NPC, and you have to run them versus 2 new assassin class enemies. That is in the literal physical class or class card assassin. We have generic servant type enemies in this. They are elite mobs. There's 2 of them. They have 200k and 300k HP, respectively, approximately. They immediately start the fight with 1000% NP, and they have a single target NP, which also can inflict instant death. If you live this, they do both have their NP sealed for 5 turns. So if you manage to correctly survive this onslaught, you'll be fine. But yeah, this is the literal first fight in Traum, and the game is going to be giving you a telegraph for how things are going to go. Now, as for new mobs, we have full sets of new mobs for Sabers, Berserkers, Riders, Assassins, Lancers, and Casters, all your core 7 Knights classes. They do have some in smaller HP pools, so some of them, and most of them, honestly, are in the, elite mob area, multiple hundreds of thousands. Some of them are in smaller pools. All of these new mobs basically have single target NPs with different effects and drop the new mats. Often drop both of the new mats, so Ashes and Sabers, which is pretty good. That's nice that there's not, one of them is an elite mob who only spawns once in a blue moon. Also for mobs, just generic enemies, keep your eyes open for Shantak birds, Enforcement Knights, Demon Boars, Snakes, as in normal Cobra-type enemies, because they also have Orochis, Vorpal Chickens, Cursed Insects, and a few others. No, we will not let the Vorpal Chicken go. For your story support, your most consistent story support from top to bottom is going to be NPC Sherlock, We're in case you couldn't tell by the fact that we are pre-spoiled that a Moriarty's coming out with this block. There's going to be a lot of Sherlock in this. But you're also expected to run into Salome, Saber Deerwood, the Don, which is how I wrote Don Quixote in my notes several times. Roland Astolfo, Arantes, and Siegfried, plus some one-offs. There will also be situations where you will switch master skills. You will get a couple of different unique Mystic Code or special plot-wise swaps for your master skills. So that means you can probably just put whatever in the level-up slot. Classy. Now, in general, when dealing with big enemies, bosses, or elites, you're going to see between 100 and 300k HP. Mobs are going to be more plentiful when they're weaker. Those are usually 100k or less. There are going to be some bosses with some chunky HP pools, but I want to give you a positive run. We're going to do all the big fights that you need to know about, but honestly, over the course of 22 slots, maybe it's just I have been fucking scronkled by stories like Olympus and Avalon LaFay, but there's not actually that many boss fights in this. They're not that prevalent. There's a few. We'll talk about them. But again, you'll take note of when I mention act numbers here. So let's run through the acts and talk about some fights. Act 4 is going to have an NPC-only fight as Zhang Ju against a Berserker Assassin and Saber type class. It also has an unskippable dialogue at the end, which doesn't do anything mechanically. I guess it's just for plot stuff. Acts 5, 6, and 7 all have you doing some Sherlock solos with unique master skills, but Pip 5 of Act 7 actually has you getting some choice in this. You're going to be able to use a friend support plus 2 servants, but you have to finish the fight in 4 turns. There will be several fights that you have to finish in X number of turns. If you go past that turn count, you will lose, so keep this in mind. For the rest of Act 7, you're going to have story support Salome and 2 slots, and often have a time limit. And in Battle 8, the 8th pip of this act, which is a very long act for this game, you're literally down to 1 servant plus Salome, and your enemy NPCs will fire at their NPs every turn, but your enemies are just elite mobs. They're guys with like 100k or 200k HP. So, meant to be tough going and tactical, but not super hard. You don't have to like fight any enemy servants with 4 break bars while doing this also. That comes later. So, Act 9, more elite mobs, lots of story buffs and debuffs. Not really impactful here, but the final fight of this block, there's 4 pips. The 4th block, you have a dialogue choice. Depending on which one you pick, you can either be forced to take Saber Deerwood as support or take any support. Again, it doesn't really matter, but it's one of those things to keep an eye out for. All the way until Act 10, we get our first real boss battle. You've got a Berserker boss-type enemy with 400k HP, no break bars. They have 3 gutses, though, for 50% HP. The battle ends when you make them use all 3 guts. So, that's kind of our dimensions here. You have some challenging fights, but you don't actually have a boss until about Act 10. Act 11, you're going to have a brawl where enemies auto-replace. That's as in they do the thing where the enemies are replaced the instant you kill them. We are bringing that mechanic back, as we did in certain fights in LB6. There's 50 of them in this fight, and your NPs are permanently sealed, except for the 2 forced NPCs you pick. You just gotta live 5 turns. And again, this is a recurring aspect. The defensive battles are absolutely practice for Traum. Act 12 has some perfectly normal battles, more stuff with, live X number of turns, defeat X number of enemies, and other normal fights. The last pip, you've got a dialogue choice. You pick the first option for a fairly typical battle, just first 3 servant class mobs. The second option goes for a much easier battle. You have extra story buffs, and you're fighting, weaker mooks with like 50k HP. You may ask yourself, well then, Omega, why would you ever pick the harder one? I'm going to assume because it's a dialogue choice, there is some story stuff involved. So you must pick with your own discretion. Just to let you know, the optimal one is probably the second option for the super easy fight. Act 13 is, I think, when we actually get wild, over the halfway mark. Here there's going to be a caster boss fight. The caster is a boss with, break bars. He has 256 and 304k HP. I cannot tell you, by the way, how hard it was to not try and force putting in my script colors or C with a 256. I will acknowledge it, but I did not go for it. So he's got real boss HP hours. But also you have to deal with 6 enemies on screen, and he has 5 rider ads. I believe there's 15 total of them, so they can replace themselves all 3 times. So the boss has, like I said, there's aforementioned HP values. He heals 2k HP per turn. He starts the fight with a full NP bar. He goes to NP right away at the start. And the ads, all 5 of them, start with a taunt.
Oh, Jesus, okay.
So you cannot target the boss even right away. I think it's a 2-turn taunt. But you get each member of your party gets 2 debuff immunities for free. And every time your party goes to attack, 1 enemy will be instantly killed. I assume the boss either will be immune to it or won't count, but you will just gank an ad for free. The battle ends when the main boss is killed. So you can chew through the ads because they have taunts and stuff, or you can focus down the main boss if you can get through the taunts or use AoE attacks. Honestly, with like nodes that are going to have like maximum of 6 guys, AoE MPs are going to be very valuable here to just be like, no, and just delete a lot of guys. But yeah, no, like that's Act 13 is an actual real fight. For our next couple of bits, you're going to have a lot of fights with mostly mooks that end after X number of turns. You got to live through them. Act 15 is going to have a boss that's going to give you a little bit of a gut check, going to give you a little bit of a pucker when you see it. They're a berserker with 201k, 412k, 1 million HP. Yes, that's 1 million on that last HP bar. They have a permanent 1k burn on themselves. This is a fight that is on Wave 2, so you have to chew through some mooks first. And also, when Wave 2 starts, they fill their NP bar to NP immediately and get 20% buster up, which is permanent. So they're gonna make you do a little bit of gut check. Break bar number 1 removes all of your defensive buffs and gives your team 20% buster resistance down. But on break bar 2, the fight ends. So you don't have to actually chew through the 1 million HP. But like I said, it's gonna make you do a little bit of a pucker, a little bit of a suck in, just a little. Also, by the way, I know that this has been a thing for several fights, but Traum also really loves enemies who start NPing right away or NP every turn. Watch out for that. Hardcore defensive buffs will win the day. Also, by the way, still in Act 15, the fight after the boss fight, you only have to like survive 5 turns, but it has an enemy cap of 1,500 guys.
Jesus. You're fighting an army?
Yeah, I think so. But also, the game is like straight up like, I think they got tired of people like getting through X number of enemies in these fights, and they were just like, no, you will not. You will have to wait 5 turns. During Act 17, you're going to have some special NPC-only interludes I don't want to spoil, but you're going to get some fun perspective stuff. Get to try out some NPCs.
Oh, cool.
Act 18, we're back on our shit. We've got a Lancer boss with 201, 283k HP, supported by some class mooks. You will go up to 4 enemies on screen at once. And you will be forced to pick 4 story supports. You will have to use Sherlock, Roland, Astolfo, and the Don, plus 2 of your own servants. Each ally in your squad has unique buffs, and also gets, if I'm reading this correctly on the wiki, plus 30k max HP.
Oh, big stuff.
And you get two free hits of Invul. But as the fight goes on, you will suffer some debuffs. Like on turn 2, you'll get a 3-turn star and NP gen down. And on turn 3, a random one of your party members will get sleep for a turn. When you break their bar, the boss gets Pierce Invul for 5 turns and basically guarantees their next attack will be a crit. They get plus 100% crit rate for 1 time. So probably you're gonna have to get in there. But yeah, we got a lot of shuffling of the NPCs. And there's more mook fights in between here and there. But in Act 19, we got a lot of fights that have the same gimmick. You're gonna have 99 enemies. You have to kill 10 enemies to clear the fight. You have to kill them in 6 or, I should phrase it as 7 or 6 turns, or you die. The fight ends. So you have to kill X number of enemies before the time expires, but you have extra overkill enemies, so keep that in mind. Act 20 is going to continue in this vein. You're going to have to defeat enemies in certain amounts of turns until Pip 4. Pip 4, we've got an actual boss. The first time you fight this Berserker boss, you've just got to break their first HP bar. That HP bar, though, is 873,000. The enemy also, I don't know if that number is accurate because they've got plus 30k max HP and a 25% special resistance, and can put taunt on one of your units and give themselves sure hit for 2 turns. So just like will exile out a guy to fucking kill. You will have a story support though, who has shitloads of defensive buffs to use. So keep that in mind. And you will heal like 800 HP per turn. So there's a few fun ones in there. But you only have to break the first bar. Yeah, no, it's 900k. It's gonna be rough. You gotta watch out for that. And they got damage resistance. But they are Berserker, so you can't absolutely just DPS race them. By the way, the second fight's the real fight. You gotta go all the way to Nat for this. And it is also gonna be a DPS race. The boss now has 228, 302, and 377k HP. They still have their 25% special resist. They got a 25% attack up. They charge 2 pips of NP every turn. But after they fire their NP, they take 3k curse damage permanently. So they are just constantly whittling down their own HP pool. Their taunt is back, but now instead of the other stuff, it gives the targeted servant 300 curse damage for like 10 turns. I think it's actually 5 turns. The 10 turns is when you break their first bar. Their first bar just gives a random servant in your squad 200 curse damage for 10 turns. Not a big deal. Bar 2, the second bar break in this boss fight, is bad. The boss removes all of their buffs and debuffs except curses, including the story ones they got at the start. So they just, admittedly, this means they get rid of their special resistance and attack up, but also any debuffs you've stuck them with, gone. They will automatically charge their NP, so they will fire NP automatically when you break the bar. Also, they will charge their NP bar to max every turn, and they get 50% damage up versus your story NPC. Like I said, DPS race. Get ready to fucking jam damage. But you may have noticed I said that's in Act 20, so that's actually pretty close to the end. Act 21 is the final boss. The first fight is fake as usual. Don't worry about it. Don't worry. You'll be fine. And then after some more story stuff, you get the actual final boss fight. The final boss is a ruler. They have 156, 208, 305, 200k HP, 4 HP bars. You must put your Mash and story support Charlie in the front row. Charlemagne has plus 100% damage and plus 30% defense up versus Evil Servants. He generates 10 stars every time he attacks. He has a permanent minus 100% healing demerit, which is unremovable. So he does a lot, but you cannot heal him unless you're somehow doing like over 100% healing. The enemy boss has a semi-level evade skills. One of his skills is an evade that's like 2 times 3 turns. He heals 300k, or sorry, not 300k, 3k
Jesus.
per turn. Yeah, it just heals 3k every turn. Has 100% buff removal resist, but if I'm understanding this correctly, when you break his bars, his NP gauge resets. Also, I think on bar 1, he can't crit. They say minus 100% star gem, but as a demerit, so I don't know if that means that you don't generate stars, or just his crit rate is fucked. Keep in mind, it's only the first bar that this matters. Also, this boss has an AoE NP. Do not forget that. The boss has a default skill for this special fight that applies some random debuffs, but after a turn of this application, Mash will clear it from your party, and if she specifically was targeted for the buff, after she cleanses them, she will clap the boss back with some debuffs, so don't worry about it. These can be pretty nasty. Some of them are like 50% defense down for a turn, or like 80% NP damage down for a turn, but if Mash is still alive, you will naturally cleanse these debuffs, and like I said, if she specifically was targeted, she'll clap back and give the boss like 200% or 2,000 damage. Like I guess it's damage plus. It's like reverse damage down or damage cut. You know, that thing that Saberlot does, give them like an extra 2k damage and give them like 20% defense down. So like, it's just got some back and forth. So break number 1 removes the star gen demerit. It gives the boss a 50% chance to evade all attacks forever. Well, not really forever, but for the rest of this break bar. But gives the boss a permanent quick resistance down. When you break break number 2 here, gives 3 turns of 50% crit rate up and 30% crit damage, but gives the boss a permanent arch resistance down. Break 3 is the home stretch. When you do this, this removes all previous buffs and debuffs, including the permanent ones, but gives the boss buster resistance down permanently. So like I said, the 50% evade is annoying, but will go away eventually. You just have to keep whittling. And that's it, though. Act 22 is all denouement, baby. So honestly, like, comparing that, like, oh no, I had to do, like, a paragraph with a couple extra, bullet point breaks for specific mechanics. I think Big Fluff was a fucking paragraph that had several sub-bullets. This is a lot simpler. You may notice there are some jumps or gaps in the mechanics coverage here. These are either going to be our favorite all-story nodes, or just the fights aren't worth mentioning. Beat up some mooks. If you're physically playing Lost Belt 6.5, you can probably accomplish a fight against 3 guys with 100k HP, or one of them is like has 300k and you have 100k HP, where like, oh no, one enemy might get plus 20% defense for the whole fight. You can work with that. Also, there are some interesting stuff going on here. This seems like very focused, very normal story for part 2. Very much driving home on its use of that. I've got some very interesting use of new and old characters, so I'm very interested to see how this fits thematically and in with the macro plot. And like I said, there's some stuff I'm not going into detail with. I am pre-warning you that there may be some situations where your master skills change. I'm not really going to talk about why or how that is. Just keep it in mind. Don't necessarily count on your Mystic Code. There's going to be some NPC-only runs. What NPCs are those? Don't worry about it. it's NPC only, so there's nothing you can do to change it. But yeah, I'm very interested to see how this works with the macro plot. Like obviously this is a 0.5, so we are in kind of an interesting circumstance. But knowing what servants we get new, what servants we see in art, but who are not made new until much later. Looking at you, Joan. I'm kind of curious to see how it all clicks. And hey, guys, you'll finally get to see Salome in the story. She's in there, and a couple of other people are in there. So yeah, that's all you need from me. But I'm pretty interested to see it play out. And like I said, you'll be able to hear our first impressions, probably one of our usual section by section breakdowns starting next week. Because like I said, I'm reasonably certain the update will go live probably technically Sunday night. Also, you'll probably get to hear about how me dumping 360 or something scene quartz into Charlemagne's banner goes. I'm locked in. I'm ready to rock. But yeah, that's all you need from me. Look forward to an interesting story time here. And I am glad that we are stepping up some rewards. Obviously, we've had extra mats and EXPs and pure prisms for a while. But you finish the story, you just straight up get 3 grails. That's good. More grails.
That's a lot of magical energy, though.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't know what that means. Like I said, this one is I think I understand the very loosest bullet point vibes from when this came out in JP. I'm pretty sure I can infer, based on the fact that there are, enemies who are generic servant classes, there's probably some kind of Grail War shenanigans going on. But also, there's way more than 7 of these guys. I think it's actually that type of enemy when you have to fight the 1,500 guys. So, there's stuff going on. We'll see what's up. I'm interested. I want to see what's going on. And as I said, I'm fully playing some stuff close to the vest for the audience here. That's not directly related to fights, so... I want you guys to be pleasantly surprised by a few things if you don't know already. But yeah, we should have some good character stuff. And as I mentioned before, I'll reiterate, completing Traum will add to the story gacha Kremheld and Don Quixote. So they are both story locked and will be added at the completion. And yeah, that's pregame. Looking forward to it. And we're just under 2 hours of raw recording here. I do feel a little like I could use a snack up, but we got some stuff. I didn't really put anything in the what's up zone. There has been some, news about stuff going on, but in general, I'm mostly just, cruising on stuff I was already on last week, Working on Unicorn Overlord, playing a lot of 14.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still working on Rain, but developing the prologue and setup, it's been a little bit, some fluff. I'll have to cycle back to that probably next week, but I'm still actively writing the prologue. That's I can talk a little bit about the design, but mostly what we've been doing in Rain is you guys are working, even more to crystallize and shore up character ideas and talk about your relationship and backstory and stuff, to basically to even before we get to the prologue, we're pre-prologuing, to have what I hope you guys get out of this is you kind of have your relationships locked in when we start right away, which would be good because what I'm realizing writing the prologue is. I knew this anyway. It's a Noble Houses type game. We got an entire kingdom we're working with here. The whole first couple days of the prologue, yes, I do actually have some roles and I have character building questions for you guys to work on, and actually got some actual mechanics in there. Most of it is just going to be me holding up NPCs almost in I'm trying to sell you a fucking character display. If this was a Lego line or an action figure line, I would be and here, the characters from House Oro. Look at them. You've got this one, this one, this one, and this one. What do you think about them? All right, cool. Move them on. Next group. It's a lot of it is just me batch jittering NPC names, introducing them, giving them a little bit of detail, and then just letting them sit. And in the prologue, what'll happen is I'm going to see, who you guys are interested in. You're not going to be introduced to, literally every lord in every era of every house. I already know that's way too many guys. But you're going to get a decent chunk, get everybody from all over, because I want to, kind of feel you guys out. And a lot of it's going to be, what NPCs you mesh with, what NPCs you don't mesh with. A lot of that's going to come back in the future. And see, where our alliances go in and where we're not. And, it's... So, I don't right now think there's a lot to discuss game design-wise, because I'm just yeah, no, hey, right now I'm in the part of the game where the gang goes to breakfast. And so you get to meet a lot of people. It's the royal breakfast, so I got to introduce you to the king. But then also, you got to meet all the guys you didn't meet in the the couple of days you spend going around before there. Oh, also, tempting you shit. I'm sewing a net. Part of the reason you guys are supposed to be going to this festival is to actually shop around for marriage prospects. I'm casting a web here. I don't want to say for sure that everybody will have gotten into a fight and gotten a kiss, but if I can arrange that all characters experience that, have to punch somebody and have to smooch somebody, that would be exactly what I'm going for with this prologue. That's where I'm casting a wide net of plot hooks that I'm going to fish back later. So yeah, no, this is all in there. But like I said, it's not. I don't know if it's very talky right now. We're working on stuff. We're doing some fluff building, but it's in a little bit. I do have to knock out a few more of our allied tribe stuff and get some more things nailed down. It's a lot of NPC generation and very quickly capturing vibes.
Mm-hmm.
It's not unlike how this is where I go back to the well a lot, but it's not unlike how Game of Thrones does this kind of stuff. You run into a couple characters from a house, and the author has to or the TV show has to visually sell you, hey, it's that guy. He looks kind of like this. This is kind of his clothing vibe. Here's some colors. Here's his house, his hat, what they do. All right, cool. Moving on.
I think this is both the pleasure and pain of running this kind of game, because while we are not going to be against yield adventuring and adventuring, I do think the focus on this is to be interacting with people and nations or territories, as it were.
Yeah.
And so we definitely have a lot of people and setting up. This is why I do like the idea of the prologue, setting up those relationships early and then, expounding upon them later after a time skip sets up a lot of potential for, diplomacy and confrontations and stuff. And, we as players are gonna have to decide, hey, are we gonna solve this with a pen or with a sword? And if we decide, in either case, we have to look at the book and can we afford this?
Yeah, and work it all out. And this is the thing I knew would happen, but as I decided to keep track of everybody to start building out the dramatis personae, and as a fun detail to add everybody characters who have titles, add their titles, because this hey, spoilers. As a world-building exercise, when I add the lord of a house or a secondary prince or something, and I say they're in charge of a city or a keep or something, that's all world-building, baby. That's all just me backfilling in geography that's very loosey-goosey. So I'm at some point I have to come up with place names, so why not attach place names to characters when it will matter? But
I'm sorry, I just looked at your persona. It's at 3 pages now.
There's a lot of NPCs. You notice I'm
looking at it. This is most of these lines are one line. Maybe they'll go into 2 when Oh shit! The High King has Oh wait, no. Wait, High King, Roger Conrad is the Sun King, ruler of Tricorna, defender of the Covenant, Lord of Chateaubriand, commander in chief of the Blood Shields. Yeah, no, that's 2 lines.
Yeah,
but at most 2 lines.
Yeah,
it's Jesus.
There's a lot of houses. People are in there.
Also, you don't need to worry about. Shout out to you, Jenkins Kruger Empowerment at the Skinny Goat.
Yeah, no, I like I said, I'm generally adding characters to my dramatis personae as they show up, and I'm I like putting little notes in there. You're gonna run into people. It's just like reading a book like a Game of Thrones or like a Redwall where it has dramatis personae. You guys don't need to worry too hard about coming up with your own titles. If you got nicknames you want to throw out there, that's perfectly fine. Saying Leslock, calling him Son of the Lion because your dad is known as the Big Dad is known as the Young Lion. I'm nah, it perks perfectly. That's exactly the kind of thing that happens in these moments. Other stuff is just gonna come up naturally. Hey, guess what? A lot of your dad's titles, they're gonna be your titles when your dad's dead. Spoilers, your dad's gonna die. Or maybe go mysteriously missing for indeterminate number of years and we have to assume he's dead, But you're gonna get, no matter what, you're gonna get some of his titles. Some of those will not be inherited. You will not de facto become Lord Marshal right away because, that's gonna be a thing we gotta get in. But, his titles from his province are out there. I did mention to the group, because this is how I've been filling out titles, but also may matter for certain personal or even company assets. followers and other stuff like that, there are a lot of like different subgroups, for lack of a better word, many organizations out there. Obviously, knights are part of chivalric orders, which, is good for like military combat followers and other stuff like that. And like, working out where your military resources are. And you guys can come up with your own names for those, or I can, figure out the ones that work best. Did I already have a name for whatever would be probably the most prominent in Stonehearth? I don't remember. It might just be the Order of Stonehearth. They don't have to be fancy. But there are also, like religious and monastic orders. There are academic societies. There are trade and artisanal guilds, and also merchant and trade companies. And obviously some of these are going to end up being, other companies with the capital C you guys can like work with or against, kind of like, and incorporate them into your own company kind of a thing. But also some of it's just kind of like fluff and stuff and figuring out the relationship. So like I didn't want you guys to think about where your relationships are going to go, but also that works into like the titles of different characters, Oh, so-and-so from House Oro is part of, this trade company, this merchant company. Well, that doesn't matter to those of you who aren't working in a trade direction, but, I'm reasonably certain that Enos is going to end up as, an officer or even maybe chartering his own, merchant company at some point. That may mean that you come into conflict, or it may mean you work with, other trade companies, but that's a thing you got to worry about, that, like, I am reasonably certain Loth's character does not have to worry about that. He is probably not going down the mercantilism route, but he may end up as a knight in a chivalric order, or, in a mercenary company, and he has to worry about, fighting fights and getting into duels, kind of a thing. But yeah, the dramatis personae is really helping me flesh out, because like you said, it's going to be like, you're going to meet all these people. All of these people are literally your future peers. That's why they call it peerage, and you're going to have to deal with these people. You're going to have to deal with some of them at home. I strongly suspect, and I have actually written it out, that you will be able to get more one-on-one time with the guys from House A, because they're your immediate fucking neighbors. So, you're probably going to spend some time developing with them. And like I said, I've set aside some one-on-one time. But also, you've got other neighbors. You got guys in House Verity from Traum, which is just across the water. You got to worry about House Ferretti. They're just, across the channel as well, with all their wood, all of their weak, squishy wood, and you with your big, shiny steel and your rocks. And then, your complex familial relationship with House Marin, who, like I said, the head of House Marin has like a personal beef with your dad, which naturally is going to be semi-communicated to some of the kids. But do you actually, how much beef do you actually have with them? You are kind of in a little bit of trade conflict with them. They used to be the only source of goods from the Shattered Cauldron. But, your dad has a relationship there for reasons. But there's a lot of other stuff going on. So it's a fun time, but like I said, I'm mostly just plugging away at it. And if we don't probably immediately get into some gaming after this, some video gaming, I should say, I'll probably go back to working at it. Just plonking away.
Plonk.
But yeah, we are gonna, Axe has mentioned this in the chat as well, we are gonna go, we're literally returning to Venison Island, as it were.
Mm-hmm.
That'll be this weekend, so look forward to those APs getting posted. That'll be fun. Adjusted our characters, got some stuff. Check those out if you haven't already. We got the first series, that's a shorter run Genesis campaign that Aaron ran for us. But yeah, like I said, I don't know. I've mostly been holding the course on video games where I was at. Nothing really new.
Mm-hmm.
Anything like new with you, Lucky?
No. I took a break from Stellar Blade for a little bit. I'm not entirely sure why. But I've been back into it, been like working. I'm playing it like right now. If you've been hearing the tink, that's because the sound of parrying carries through your controller mic.
Yeah, no. So that would be much closer to your mic.
Yeah, so unfortunately there's not much I can do about that except not play, and you expect me to not do that. Silly people.
That's okay. Some of those sounds will be caught in the edit. Not all of them. If you're speaking at the same time it happens, I'm pretty sure Audacity won't be able to pick out the difference between you speaking and background noise, but isolated background noise is very good at getting those. But yeah, I did like, because I believe it was one of the free monthly games this month, I did add Dave the Diver to my PlayStation library, but I have not really played it yet.
That's a game I should probably be at some point. I'm pretty far in it. From the PlayStation Plus games, I did pick up Tunic.
Yeah, that's also on my list to grab.
Yep.
I heard a lot of good things about it. But yeah.
And I have played it a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It is definitely a vibe. I'm not sure I like this whole I can't read what anyone is fucking saying thing that's going on. I just agree to things without knowing what it is. I'm just like, that's usually not okay. Normally you don't want to do that.
Yeah.
But
Definitely makes it hard to rip the plot.
Yeah, but I do like a little mechanic they have. You can find basically pages to the instruction manual.
That is,
and I think that's super cute. I really do like that. But again, some of it, like some of it's in pictures, some of it's in English, and the rest is just in the whatever gobbledygook language that they have. So I'm just like, I get this. I'm having this FOMO moment here, where I'm just like, there could be something here, but I don't know what it is. Act saying that learning the language is a thing, and I'm like, okay, if it's an actual thing in the game, I guess that's cool. That's neat, like I said, but like as long as we'll
it's if it's part of the gaming process and not just a weird stylistic choice, well, then we'll take a look at it. Like I said, I think I added it to my library. Oh, it's part of you get the language as part of the instruction book. Nice. But yeah, like I said, I'm pretty sure I added it to my library, but have not downloaded or played it yet. But I've heard a lot of good things, so I'm sure I'll check it out sometime. So much time in the backlog. But yeah, I think the only other thing I have been getting into is, it's a weird one, and this isn't going to grab everybody, but I'll throw it out there because some people might be interested in this. I've recently picked up watching a live-action TV series, Black Sails. I was originally on Stars, of all networks, but I guess it just got all dumped on Netflix a while ago. My dad's actually been like watching it in the living room, so I caught some from the side and wanted to figure it out. It's, in case you can tell by the name Black Sails, it's about piracy. It's technically supposed to be like a prequel to Treasure Island. John Silver, he's not called Long John yet, is one of the major characters in the TV show. It's kind of historical fiction. Like, you've got fictional characters like Captain Flint and like John Silver, but you also have actual factual real pilots like Jack Rackham and Anne Bonny. Like, she's like an actual major character in the show. So I just kind of picked it up because it's like, our setting isn't actually in that style, but it is kind of the era we're around in the Blessed Bleach. So I was just kind of like, I'll watch some piratey guys, and it's just, I don't know, it's like, it's pirate TV. It's all right.
Pirate TV.
People, fight with sabers and cutlasses and shoot guns, and there's some pretty good, ship battle shots. I assume that they must have. It was Prestige TV. They must have actually done some shooting in like a tank or something, like how they shot Pirates of the Caribbean movies. Like, the ships, I'm pretty sure a decent number of them are miniatures or actual sets, which is nice. But it's got some decently snappy dialogue, and like I said, some of you who are pirate heads might actually like catch some references. Obviously, like I said, Anne Bonny being a character in the show is there. At one point, a character talks about how he used to apprentice under Henry Avery, who some of you may remember from Uncharted the 4th. So, lots of cute little details like that. I will warn you, though, depending on what you like in your television and who you watch, obviously there's lots of violence, but it was on Stars. That means there's a lot of titty and a lot of dudes hanging dong.
Dong.
Lots of guys not wearing pants, and just, the camera doesn't really focus on it, but it's the kind of thing where you're like, oh, hey, that guy's not wearing any fucking pants. Not sure what I expected. So, keep your eyeballs peeled for that one. But yeah, that's just the thing I've been like chewing through off and on in the middle of the night when I'm trying to lay down and relax more before going to bed, but it's not always working. It's hot. It's almost 11 o'clock at night, and it's only just now gotten down to 78 degrees. So yeah, I'm sure we'll have more stuff to mention, but I don't really have anything else I want to bring up to the crew. How about you, Lucky? Anything else on your mind?
Not really, no.
Okay, well, we've got a show that's about 2:10 right now, so let's go work through the edit. Hope you guys enjoy Traum. Hope you guys like the pregame, and I guess I'll go ahead and do the outro. Sorry, I'm itching my neck. Also, not that I expected him to, but if Lucky wanted to yell out, "No, don't do the outro," he could have done that while I was taking a breather. You got to work these pauses into your dialogue with your partners.
Yes.
I don't expect that Lucky will yell at me not to end the show, but if he did want to, he could have done it.
Oh, if I had something I want to go on, no, that would have been the moment I would have done it.
But,
like, wait, no!
Yes, like that. But we do not, so we will wrap up. If you're watching the video on YouTube, give it a like. Do it. Make YouTube happy, make me happy. Also, if you give this video a like, you might see some more of our stuff in your feed. You might catch some of those APs or some other streams and stuff we've done. I don't actually know how YouTube recommends videos, but I do in my sidebar see people, relatively small channels and videos getting like recommendations on streams and vids. So, tell YouTube what you like, it'll like you back, I hope. Leave your comments down below, join our Discord. Our Discord's cool, it has lots of channels for lots of stuff. Link is in the video description and on our channel page. Make sure you're subbed if you haven't already. Get more videos like this podcast, like our upcoming Wanted video on Charlemagne, and also future streams and stuff. And we'll be back at you Monday with more Power Wash.
Yeah, blast it.
Yeah, probably going to go ahead and start the FF7 DLC. We can probably do that in one sitting.
Yeah.
Maybe start the session with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll take a little dip down to Midgar. And if we manage to burn through it super fast, I think the only other free content pack is their seasonal update. So we could probably go Power Wash Santa's Workshop or something silly. But yeah, check out our streams. We got those. Actually, also I can probably this is a good place to mention it now, and I'll mention it later. But if you like Final Fantasy 14, probably gonna starting next week, start doubling up on streams, catching you guys on like a either a Thursday or a Saturday, depending on how things go with extra time, because Dawn Trail's not that far off, and there's a lot of content to crunch through, not only in Endwalker but in the patch content, and I'd like to be ready to go with the MSQ. If not the day, I mean, I'll probably use the early access time, because I don't know how Yoshi P would feel about me streaming the game in early access. I'll probably want to use my early access time to unlock Viper and get ahead, but I'd like to be there right away with the MSQ when the new content drops, when 7.0 hits.
Yeah, I'm actually thinking of, I think I might match my story progress to yours, I'm thinking.
That could be fun. Both of us kind of reacting fresh.
Mm-hmm.
And whoever, if we get somebody who's ahead, they might know some mechanics. If not, we'll all learn together, baby. But yeah, if you make sure you're subbed and your notifications are hit so you can keep track of all that stuff. If you want access to membership badges and emotes, consider joining our channel membership. Wonderful way to throw us a couple bucks. And also, like I said at the front of the show, consider supporting us on Patreon. You can get access to these episodes early in audio format for as little as $1 a month, or approximately $10 a year. At higher levels, you can vote in topic polls. Fan Servant Friday and Fail Betrayal polls are up now. I'm sorry, FSF took me a while to post. I posted it today because I just didn't have a particular vibe, and I wanted to make sure the last one was done. But they're both done, and they're both posted. So take your pick. We'll do some servant profiles. You can get access to Wanteds early and other stuff. And, of course, at our higher tiers, you can get a on-air shout-out as our highest tier. And the tier below that, even, our gold tier, you can listen to us record Let's Talk FGO live every week. You can get it the earliest. And also, all higher tiers have access to the benefits of all the lower tiers. I assume most people understand how Patreon stuff works, because it's been around for fucking ever. But, just remind everybody, all of our lower stuff, I should say, is available at higher tiers. That's going to be it from us this week for Let's Talk FGO. We'll be hitting you back next week with our favorite new main story drops. I don't know if you can hear it, but I'm rubbing my hands together in anticipation. It's probably not carrying on the microphone here. That was a little too fast. I got to be careful. Don't want to burn myself. All right, that's going to be it from us, y'all. Thanks so much for tuning in. We'll see you next week. Happy rolling, everybody.
Meow.